Hello everyone, welcome to week 2. I hope everything went well for the first week of the course. If you have any questions, please continue to email me. Thank you for your responses for the emails that I have sent out. As far as what we're moving on to now is going to be the annotated bibliography. We've learned how to find sources in the library. We've learned the importance of the different types of sources, how they work together, how some have more credibility than others. And so now we're going to be moving into selecting and narrowing down, still researching, researching through the databases and the library, trying to find more sources for our paper, for our research project. But now we're going to be looking at them a little bit more critically. We're going to be analyzing them a little bit more. Before it was just learning how to do the citation. Now we're going to be actually talking about what the source is about. But what I want to do is just kind of recap a little bit just from last week, just kind of some of the things to keep in mind that are going to carry over into this week. So first of all, when we're talking about or trying to determine our topic within this subject of mass incarceration, we want to remember 4 things in mind. 4 things. Is the topic relatable? Is it locatable? Is it measurable? And is it debatable? Okay. Relatable, is it a topic that you're really passionate about? Okay, is it something that you really want to pursue? Is there some desire within you to know or to write more about, or learn more about, or to say something about this particular topic? Is it relatable to a degree with your vocation? Is there some kind of career goal that may be connected? It's really important to be passionate about the topics we're going to write about. But of course, that passion has to be tempered with practicality. Is the position or the angle that you're going to take, is it locatable? Are there actual sources, current sources out there? Okay, because again, we can be really passionate about a topic, but there may not be any research out there to support what we want to say. So we're not really aiming for original research. We're not trying to create a primary source. We're trying to analyze and discuss what others have said, and then to put forth, what we feel is, the most reasonable course of action based on the given amount of research on this particular topic. So is it locatable? Is there current research right now happening? Is this something that's in discussion and debate right now within the last year? I think that goes back to the last email that I just sent out, quoting Professor Sung or Dr. Sung. Is there something within a year that can really apply to your topic? That's really your criteria. So is it relatable? Is it locatable? Is there a body of research that's happening, that's current? Is this a current problem, okay, that's happening? Okay, not something that happened, in the past, a significant amount of time in the past, and it needs to be something that's maybe not necessarily expected in the future, but really is something going on right now. And is it measurable? Again, is there data? Is there research? Is there factors in place that can measure what's really happening with that topic, with that subject that you're wanting to pursue? Say, for instance, mental health and incarceration. Is there data to back up whatever position that you're trying to argue for? Okay. Is there data and statistics on particular angle on incarceration for different demographics? Okay. Is there real evidence that you can find to back that up? Okay. And you're going to find that through your sources. Okay. Lastly, is it debatable? Is it something that really is debatable? Is it not just a statement of fact, but is there some discussion about it on both sides? Is there evidence for both sides? We're not trying to really necessarily have a definitive end of the story kind of say on this. We want to, there's plenty of debate within mass incarceration, and is your particular angle, your particular field that you want to pursue in this, is there a current debate? Okay, so that's kind of a recap of what we looked at, and that's all within the context of rhetoric. So rhetoric is going to continue to be the overarching principle of the course. We're trying to persuade. We're trying to persuade our reader to either consider or even adopt our particular point of view. Okay, now keep in mind that your topic is still in a development state. It's not necessarily etched in stone. you might get to a point where you think, oh, wait, this may not work. So continually be testing your topic, your subject, because there may come a point where you may hit a dead end, and it may be a complete dead end, or it may just be an obstacle for you to either, break through or go back the other way and go around and find a different way to approach it. There's many different ways to approach a topic. It takes some brainstorming. Okay, so that's one thing we want to discuss is brainstorming. Developing your topic, developing your thesis is going to go through, you may consider investing some significant time to brainstorming. I know time is short, but thinking ahead, thinking over your topic is time well spent. It's an investment because you want to think through the logic, think through the implications, the ramifications of what you're wanting to research. So you can do that by, listing out topics that may interest you, like what may not be absolutely positive on what you want to pursue, but list out some things that you're interested in. I know that through the lectures and through the slides, and even through the research, the library research assignment, there was some listing of some top, possible subjects that you might pursue within mass incarceration. So if you need to take some time just to kind of jot down some ideas you might have, and then, process of elimination, see which one that really kind of stands out to you or was most applicable to you, okay? And there can be, free writing. Maybe sit down and take some time to free write out. Don't think about grammar, don't think about, the rules per se, but just sit down and just free write, even by hand, your thoughts and maybe the way you might approach it, Another consideration is critical thinking, and you're going to start beginning to critically think about this topic, and you're going to begin to research it more in depth. So as you're thinking critically and researching, that's also going to shape your topic, okay? It's also going to shape your thesis statement. So at this point, you want to begin developing your research questions, okay? And they're going to be specific to your topic, so you'll need to kind of give some consideration to that. What are some big questions that need to be asked? What are some problems within your topic that need to be answered? So then as you have those research questions and maybe one overarching main question, you want to develop a working thesis statement for that. And this is a working thesis statement. It's not the final thesis statement. It's just one that you kind of have to get to kind of take the place of a thesis as you work through it, and then you refine it. So right now things are in a refining process, they're in a development process. So begin to think and begin to formulate your working thesis statement at this time. I strongly recommend that. And then the way you can begin doing that is as you're researching, as you're thinking critically through this, you can do some brainstorming in terms of looking at the logical connections and relationships between the sources and between your questions and between the thesis statement that you're wanting to support, and begin asking those questions as far as how do these things connect? What are the relationships between these things? And you can do that through charting, through diagramming. Those are always good. So this is part of the writing process. This is where you get to have your own approach to writing, to compositions, how you go about the brainstorming and invention side of it, okay? So this is tailored to you and how you want it to be, what works best for you. We all have different learning styles, and we all respond to things in different ways. So what works best for you? Okay. So furthermore, we want to discuss, let me go back really quick. So the research questions and your working thesis statement, okay, the thesis statement is going to attempt to kind of provide some answer to those questions or question. So the thesis statement answers the why and the how, primarily the why and the how, okay? So the thesis statement kind of, it can be a combination of the what, your introduction is going to be kind of setting up the what, the subject matter of your paper, of your research project. The what, and then it narrows down into the thesis statement that actually tries to answer the why or the how. So you present the problem, you present the background, the context of the problem, then this narrows down, think of an inverted triangle. So it narrows down into the final conclusion. Therefore, we can argue, one may argue that such and such is this, or such and such takes place because of or in light of these things. Okay, so the how and the how and the why is really what the thesis statement is going to accomplish, whereas the introduction and everything preceding that is really the what. So there's always the what, and then the so what, the conclusion. So you give the information, then you have the so what thesis statement that follows. Okay, so that's just a little recap and kind of getting us closer. We haven't really started getting into the composition side of things right now. We're in a development stage. Furthermore, we want to talk about this annotated bib. Okay, the annotated bibliography is a listing of citations. It's like the reference page or the works cited page, depending on what style you're working. Same thing. However, as you will see, it's an inclusion of it's a discussion of the main points, the main idea, the thesis statement, the thesis premise, if you can call it that, the premise, the argument that's behind the source that you're using. And then what are those main points? What are the main points that are supporting that source? Okay? So again, it's a concise summary. It's a succinct summary of your source. Okay? You're written out in paragraph form. You'll see the examples. And you want to identify the thesis or the main controlling idea of that source. You want to identify the main points. Okay, how is the author or the writer supporting what they've said in the thesis? Each paragraph is going to likely have some kind of main point that connects back to that thesis statement. So what are those main points? You may select the essential points, okay, and then talk about those. How are they being used to support the thesis statement? Okay, and what does the source rely upon? What information do they rely upon? Who are they quoting? Are there important authorities that they're using? Are there what's the credibility that they have? Okay, so we want to be careful not to go into a literature review, because as we get more analytical and more critical, then it becomes more of a literature review. But we want to discuss what does that source consist of, and what is it saying, and a little bit of how is it saying it. So really, who is saying what in the source is what we're looking at in this little condensed annotation. Now, when I say little condensed annotation, I mean that in comparison to literature review. So the annotated bib is going to be, for each entry, I would say 200 words at a minimum. If you look at the sample that's provided, it's a 14-page assignment that's been turned in. You're only required, I think, between 8 and 10 pages. Okay, so if you go over, that's fine, but you want to think in terms of importance and how much real estate do you want to invest in a source that really may kind of be a minor source for you, and what is a major source for you. So those are going to be some sources that you're going to rely upon more heavily than others. So you want to devote more real estate in your annotated bib, I would say, for those sources that are most important. But I would say a minimum of 200 words, okay? But you want to make up the full 8 to 10 pages of the assignment, what's required. The more pages, I would say it's good to go beyond that, but I wouldn't just go beyond that just for the sake of content. If you need to go through and say a lot about a source, that's fine. Okay, say what needs to be said, cover the main points, discuss that controlling idea or thesis. That way you can go back and you can refer back to your annotated bib as you're researching, because sometimes you get in the middle of researching things and you forget, so you have to go back. What does that source say? And you have that bib to refer to. So it's a resource to you, and it helps you think through these sources to kind of put them in their place of importance and relatability to your topic. How much are you going to use them in your final paper, final project? So it's the who, the authors, and where they come from. Some a little bit of background information. Are they writing for Oxford University? And then what are they discussing? Okay. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. This is an important assignment for your paper, because what you invest in this is really going to come out in your paper. The better you know your sources, the better you're going to be able to articulate how they support your thesis. Okay. So as always, please email me with questions. Be on the lookout for communication from me about things that may come up, things I might see, things I might need to remind you of as we go through this week. Okay. Um, that pretty much is it for this video. But hey, I appreciate your time, and thank you for watching this. And keep up the hard work, and keep on with the timeline, the time management, most importantly. And you have a great day. Thank you.